Hello everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the using statement and why it's a valuable asset to know whenever dealing with, for example, resources that need to be released, um, whenever you are working with them inside your code in general. Now, resources can be files that you open, memory streams, it can be any type of stream or any type of resource that can be closed in the end to be released, or it can also be, example, entity contexts that connect to the database. The database, that's another way of looking at a resource also, can be closed. Connection can be closed, for instance. So all that and many more um, should take advantage of the using statement. Now, in this example that I'll show you in my console application, I'll explain to you the first case when you're not using any of those shortcuts and whenever you're not even managing the exit gracefully, what's going to happen to your resource. That's one thing. And afterwards, I'll explain to you the long way of doing things without using. Afterwards, let's look at using the using statement, saying using quite often. So if I show you the file here that I have a simple file that I'll try to access. It's written here, hello, this is an example of using. And I have a console application here. So first off, let's remove the hello world and let's put here system.io and let's create here file.open text. Specify the name of my file using example.txt and file. Actually, I don't need to put a parameter here, so open text. Okay, this is the first thing here. Then I want to read to end here. Just gonna assign it so var lines equals file read to end. Actually, I'm going to do this as is read to end, and I'm going to output this console right line. Let's call them lines just in case we have multiple lines here. So if I execute this, you'd be like, okay, this is fine. I'll fine and dandy. Show you the output here. Increase the size. Hello, this is an example of using, which is the content of my file. So everything seems to be working fine here. Now, you'd be like, okay, um, what happens if I want to delete that file? Well, technically, should work, right? Well, if I click on file, it's going to be delete and using here. And I execute this. You see here, it says file delete it says it cannot access the file because it's used by another process. Okay, here, so I can't delete the file. Why can't I delete the file? Well, essentially it's because I haven't closed my file. So let's close the file here. So, file, close, and if I delete the file here, once again, now it should work. And you can see here, no errors. And if I put this here, this is an example of using that you already knew. Okay, so that's fine here. But what happens if I, for instance, threw an exception before the right line? I can throw new exception. Let's say I have a normal, an unexpected exception. Here I'm just going to throw one here. So this is an exception. And for all intents and purposes, here, I put a try, and I'm like, this, copy this, try catch, catch, exception ex here, and so right line, and put ex message here. So technically I should throw the exception before the close. It's not going to write the right lines here. And if I try to delete the file once again, it says the process cannot access the file because it's in a read-only, it's already being used by another process. So you can see here that not using a check for this file close means that I might have issues with resource management. So this is just for a small example. Now what would I do here to fix this? Well, this is a long way of doing things. So I have a catch exception. I put, here, let me stop this. I put finally. I put here if, and I need actually to put file on top. Actually, this here. So I need to find what this is, a stream reader. So here, stream reader file equals this, and here if file not null, I need to put equals null to be sure. And here if file not null, file not close. And as you can see here, the file will be closed if ever I have an exception or anything. Finally it's going to close, and this line here is not useful anymore. Remove this. So as you can see here, it's a lot of lines of code just to simply close this file if there's an issue. And let's execute this just for you to see. if I execute this, as you can see here, no errors, and it gives me this as an exception. So what's the easiest way of writing this code? Well, what I would do is I would use the using statement instead. So let's remove this, remove the try, remove the catch exception. Actually, let's keep the try and remove the finally and keep the delete. Try here, here, remove this. Okay, var file, and let's use using instead. So remove this, using var file, open up this here, and move everything here. As you can see, using actually is a lot more condensed. So using will open the file here. So open the files, the file stream, and once it's going to open, it's going to do the same checks. So if I try to delete this here at the end, and I have an exception, well, my exception is going to be caught, and the using will actually close the resource before continuing elsewhere. So if I execute this here, as you can see, there's no errors, and I have this is an exception here. So this is just a quick video to explain to you the using statement and the advantages of using the using statement. Once again, I'm repeating myself, and so hopefully this is going to give you a more better insight as to how things work with that specific command. And with that, happy coding.